Welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. He's Rogers Hampton. I'm Patrick Netherton. And look, you know we're more than just sports. We love some barbecue around here. And a man who hit me up at the behest of one of my friends said, "Hey, we heard you're a barbecue guy. We need to have you involved in our competition." I was like, "Wait, am I eating or cooking? Because if I'm cooking, I'm dead last. But if I'm eating, I'm first. I know that." So the principal of Northwood High School, Shannon Wall, hit me up. He also runs the Taste of Blanchard BBQ competition coming up here this weekend. Shannon, how are you, man?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing I'm also pretty good myself. Hey, I don't know if you remember this, but you and I met last football season, and
we sure did.
Not this past season, but the one before. And Rogers, one of my stories I love to repeat, because it is one of my favorite things. Yeah, one of my favorite things about high school coaches, and it's not just Northwood. This was the first place I got to experience it recently, and that is the no heights and weights on rosters. One of my favorite things of all time. And I ran into Shannon. He was up there in the press box getting everything ready. I said, "Hey, do y'all have a roster with heights and weights?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "It's one of those deals where the coach doesn't want us to know how big they are." And I just start laughing. I'm like, you won 10 games last year, Coach. I think you'll be all right. Does that kind of stuff amuse you, Shannon? When coaches are sometimes they're so eager for secrecy like that, even though again you're talking about a team that won 10 games. Gatlin was the Hall of Fame type coach, and yet they still have these sort of secrecies they want to hold on to.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you know this, but I was a former coach before I became an administrator.
Yeah.
And we're always playing those mind games.
Yeah.
And the thing Gatlin used to say is that, look, I don't want everybody to know how big we are, because then they'll expect us to win. They'll expect us to be good.
Yeah. Even though they won 10 games. I mean, it's, they were in the playoffs every year. Not how much more do you want out of Gatlin? All right.
He's great.
Yeah. Now look, we're here to talk barbecue, which is near and dear to my heart. Certainly more so than sports sometimes, I think. Because sports breaks your heart. Barbecue rarely breaks your heart, is what I like to say. So tell me about the Taste of Blanchard. What happened? How did this get started? And kind of tell me how this has progressed for you.
Okay. About 10 years ago, we decided we wanted to do a little community fundraiser, and at the same time, get some good food going. So we put on a barbecue competition. It was just simply barbecue ribs and chili. And in that first competition, we had exactly one contestant.
And that assures you win.
Yeah, it was so bad he came in second place.
Oh, no. Rogers, where's the rim shot for that one? Come on, Hambone. Rogers didn't know you had material, so he wasn't ready for it.
Well, we got together, we regrouped, and we said, look, we got to make this thing work. So long story short, 3 years later, we had a competition with 30 cooks cooking 3 different meats, half chicken, pork ribs, and brisket. And the way we did it was to contact a local cook named Chase Loomis. And Chase Loomis was one of the co-owners at that time of the out in Dixie of the Backwoods Smokers. And he got me hooked up with the Barbecue Competitors Alliance.
Yeah.
So
the
we
BCA.
went from being a small little, backyard competition to being a fully sanctioned competition. And once we got that sanctioning, then people started coming from all over. And here we are 10 years later. We've had 9 years of sanctioning. So this is officially our 9th annual Taste of Blanchard, because we only count the sanction years.
Yeah.
And year in and year out, we'll have anywhere from 35 to 45 barbecue competitors. We also picked up the State Cook-Off Association, so we'll have 40 to 55 state competitors. And we also picked up the Cassie organization, which is a philanthropic chili organization. So we also have a chili competition, and we'll have anywhere from 30 to 50 chili cooks.
That's the thing that's interesting, too, because I'm a KCBS certified judge. And so, there's sanctioning bodies all over the place. You mentioned the SCA, which is the State Cook-Off Association, the BCA, I mentioned KCBS, Kansas City Barbecue Society. The ability to get on board with these groups that already have the sort of the foundation laid and have the infrastructure, that's so key, because that gives you the ability to reach folks who are looking for these type of competitions.
That's right. That's exactly right. And now that I've been doing this for 9 years, I've really got my own database, and our reputation as a cook-off speaks for itself. This year, I've already been contacted by cooks from 6 different states. They're on their way to cook at Northwood High School this weekend.
Tell me about then how you lure them, because there has to be a
right.
lure beyond just, hey, we're playing for a ribbon here. There's obviously going to be some money involved. How do you go about making sure that there is, that the lure is significant enough to bring in the kind of teams you'd like?
Right. Okay. So that's a great question. I don't want to give away all my secrets. I am, like I said, an old coach. But one of the things we try to do is that our mission is to treat these cooks like the superstars they are. I mean, this is professional cooking. So we want to treat these guys like professionals. Mm-hmm. So the first thing we do is we have a huge cook's dinner on that first night, and we treat them to the best meal we can possibly make for them. So right off the bat, they get something free from us. Then what we do is that we keep our entry fees as low as possible. Okay. A lot of the barbecue competitions, they'll start off at about $200 entry fee. And our entry fee is not that high, but yet our prize money is as high as everybody else. Mm-hmm. For the barbecue, we will give away $7,000 in cash. That's 3 categories. So you're looking at just a little over $2,300 per category mm-hmm. for chicken, ribs, and brisket. And not only do we give away the cash, but we also give away prizes. In other words, if you're the winner of the rib competition, you're going to get $650 in cash. You're going to get this chair. It's a cook's chair. You're going to get a basket full of useful cook items. Nothing wasted. We don't want anything to be wasted. Even the basket that you get is useful. Okay. And then if you're the grand champion of our event, you get a heavyweight championship belt. And we were the first cook-off to do that.
I love it. Talking to Shannon Wall, not only the principal over at Northwood, but also the head of the Taste of Blanchard that's coming up this weekend. All right, so how do you go about finding judges then? What do you look for? Are they can people just volunteer? Do they have to be certified? What do you look for in terms of people that are going to come in and judge for you?
Another great question. Okay, when it comes to judging the state competition, that's what everybody wants to judge.
Well, sure.
You have to actually take a class and become certified to do that.
Can I stop you
real
quick? Can I stop you real quick?
Sure.
I've actually, between the time that you told me you had to be certified to judge steak, and now I looked up to see if there was a certification somewhere near here that I could go take or online, and there's not. So, unfortunately, I will not get to be a part of the ribeye process. That's unfortunate for me. But continue.
Well, and let me say this: we normally offer that class the Thursday before the Taste of Blanchard, but somehow with COVID, we got our wires crossed, and that didn't happen this year.
Yeah, I would have been there.
So with the steaks, they have to be certified, and judges register on the website. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to the barbecue, in the past, I reach out to local dignitaries. I reach out to a lot of educators. Just honestly, it's just people contacting me and me contacting them. But it has to be people that I can count on, because once you tell me you're going to be there to judge, I remind you how important this is to those professional cooks that are in our competition.
Well, I've helped out with one of the Grillin' for Grads a competition that goes on down at the riverfront. I've helped out with theirs in the past, and what I found is, because I actually did go through the certification process. Again, it was KCBS, not BCA, which is who you're affiliated with, but they're all reasonably similar. They all kind of have the same. They're just basically the difference is how they go about scoring the various meats that you're looking at. That's basically what it amounts to. But I took the certification. What I found is I did a lot of teaching the other judges, the amateur judges, which I actually really enjoyed. Hey, here's kind of what we're looking for. And before the meats would ever get there, I'd kind of give them a crash course on, hey, this is what good barbecue is. this is what you should expect out of a bite from a rib. This is what you'd expect from a brisket, a slice of brisket, that kind of thing. And to me, honestly, that was a lot of fun educating other folks who, maybe think, oh, well, fall off the bone ribs are great. Well, they're not. They're overcooked.
That's right.
So, being able to teach people, I think, is half the fun.
That's right. But I will say this, and that's what we do before our competition. Like if you're judging our ribs, you'll go on a tent and you'll be taught that process quickly. Mm-hmm. But another thing that does for you, though, is that sometimes it kind of makes it difficult for you to eat barbecue in a restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Because you find out that barbecue you used to think was good is not so good anymore.
Shannon, I'm going to bring my producer, Rogers Hampton, in here for a moment. Rogers, I would like you to tell Shannon exactly what has happened to you since you've bet and been eating with me.
No, exactly what you just said, Shannon. Not only just me, but many people before me. He has ruined me as far as barbecue. Now that he has taken me to a couple of places that now I know exactly what to look for, I have eaten at other places that I used to just think, not think twice about, and now all of a sudden take a bite and go, oh, this is not as good as I always thought it was. Mm-hmm. So he has ruined me. We're having to travel to Jefferson and Minden now to get barbecue. And I love it.
And look, it gets worse, though, because as a promoter, I've established a lot of relationships with these people in these competitions.
Yeah.
And they've been teaching me how to cook barbecue. So guys like, Chris Heron, I know you know Chris Heron.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wait, you're going to give him the Taco Bell ding?
Always.
Yeah, he is. There you go.
That's right. So I've done my best to ruin them so that they're not able to eat any local barbecue because they're used to eating my barbecue.
No, well, then y'all are successful because that's exactly what has happened to me and to my daughter and to my girlfriend. Once Patrick gets a hold of them with this kind of barbecue and he says, no, here, y'all try this, we have not been the same.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's right.
Talking to Shannon Wall, principal at Northwood, also the Taste of Blanchard. Do you have a title? Are you the president, executive director? What are you Grand Poobah?
I'm the promoter.
Promoter.
I'm the promoter.
I think you need to come up with a better title, to be honest with you. I think you should go with most exalted leader. I think you should go with something like that.
I think my wife would shoot that down.
Okay, well, hey, it's your competition, right? You can call yourself whatever you want.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, if I may, also,
yeah.
Along with the cooking competitions, we also have a craft show every year.
Okay.
We have a cornhole tournament with over 100 competitors and a beauty pageant.
Is the beauty pageant like dudes who eat barbecue? Because I'd sign up for that.
No, it's the daughters of dudes who eat barbecue.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not. I
this is truly a huge community event.
Yeah.
And Patrick, I'll be honest with you. You asked me earlier, how do I get people to come back? I charge as little as possible. Mm-hmm. I make decent money, but I could make a lot more money. But we choose to give it back to the cooks and give it back to the community.
Yeah. What is available? You mentioned the craft show. What of any of this is available for public consumption, or can you come in? Do you get to eat anything? Is there what can the public come in and be a part of?
Okay, so here's what we do. Especially this year with COVID, it's a little more difficult.
Sure.
So what the cooks do is that one of my deals with them is that I keep the entry fees low, and then what they do is that they bring the meat that they practice on. Like let's say I'm cooking at the Taste of Blanchard. Well, I'm practicing on ribs, but they bring me racks of ribs. They bring me brisket. They bring me pork butt. We take that meat and we sell it at the craft show.
Okay.
So yes, people can come and they can buy barbecue plates. It's in the new gym at Northwood High School, right there by the student parking lot. And but it won't be leftover meat. It won't be meat that anybody else has touched.
I know that feeling. Sorry, my dating life's not very good, Shannon. Just to let you know, a lot of untouched meat running around out here. All right, so there's 7 different competitions. Chicken wings and ribeye steaks on Friday night. Then this is the part that's crazy to me. 10 a.m. salsa. Like,
yes.
How do you not wreck yourself for the rest of the day eating 10 a.m. salsa?
Listen, it will change your life. It was the only time slot we had.
Yeah.
but 10 a.m. salsa, I personally sign up to judge that because it is so good at that time in the morning, especially when you start at 5 a.m.
Well, I would imagine. Yeah. Well, if you're like Rogers and you're up at 2:30 every morning, 10 a.m. salsa is like your mid-afternoon lunch at that point. So you got chicken wings and ribeyes Friday night, salsa, pork butt, half chicken, pork ribs, and brisket. You mentioned that there's typically 3 categories for judging grand champions. Typically that's ribs, brisket, and chicken. That's
Correct.
usually what you get. So, what benefit do you get? You mentioned the steak cook-off association for the ribeye steaks, but what do you get for the wings, the salsa, pork butt? Like, are these a separate category that gets separate type of prizes? What's involved with that?
Yes. Okay. So once again, these other categories were a way for me to have some low entry fees. It's $25 to enter these categories.
Okay.
So local people can get involved. In other words, if I've never been in a cooking competition,
right?
I'm willing to.
I'm legendary for my pork butt, right? So I'm going to come enter this.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I get companies like Coca-Cola. They come in and they sponsor that pork butt competition. So what happens is that you come in, you give me a $25 entry fee. Well, I take that money Coca-Cola's giving me, and I give that plus that entry fee back to the winners.
Okay.
So it's one more way for the cooks to earn their gas money to get back home.
Then obviously this requires space because typically most folks are bringing, especially the professional competitors, are bringing rigs. They're usually on trailers. They're pulling them in. A lot of times they have an RV. They'll come and set up for a couple of nights. Where do you kind of spread everyone out at?
Yes. Okay, so the chili cooks will end up in the teacher parking lot at Northwood. They'll make a big little village out there with all their RVs. And then the barbecue cooks will be behind the school in the football parking lot, and then actually on the concrete directly behind the main building. And the steak cooks, the guys who just come in and cook steak, they will all be on the bus ramp in front of the school.
Okay. We've
got it lined out perfectly so that those guys can come in, cook, and head home. But we'll have RVs all over our campus. Yeah, no,
I know there'll be a lot of folks out there. I've gone and judged the cooking on the cane down in Natchitoches a couple of times, and that's fantastic. They're all just lined up along the riverfront. It's fabulous. All right, final thing. Obviously, this is a much different year in terms of hosting a public event. John Bell Edwards just came out and said we're in phase 2 for another 28 days. Tell me about the precautions that you're having to take and what you're having to go through with all of the COVID issues.
Right. Okay, obviously we'll be giving every cook a little half sheet of paper with all the little guidelines. It talks about social distancing, talks about wearing masks. We'll have hand sanitizer everywhere you turn around. When the judges come into our field house, we'll be temperature checking them. And once they've been temperature checked, we'll be giving them wristbands so that everybody will know they've been temperature checked. We'll be making sure, like I said, when we're serving food, that food, everybody has food gloves on, everybody's been temperature checked, and everything is as sanitary and as safe as possible. Face masks for everyone.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I even had someone today turn me down coming to the craft show because we're requiring face masks. But that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I mean, this is not something, whatever your political views or your personal opinions on masks or not, you just can't hold a public event like this and not follow those types of protocols because
that's right.
They won't let you for that matter. Right. So look, I'm very much looking forward to it, Shannon. I really appreciate y'all reaching out to me. I've decided that I'm going to be called Supreme Justice Patrick Netherton of the judges. I'm just naming myself that. So just be ready for that. I may even come in with a name tag. I don't know. We'll see. But man,
we're ready. Just know this. We've got the world rib champion. This year's world rib champion is competing at the Taste of Blanchard.
Oh, I love it. Well, you've got the world rib eating champion competing as a judge. I can tell you that. Look, I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am excited about it. This is going to be a heck of a lot of fun, and anytime I get to do a little barbecue judging, I'm a happy man. So thank you for the invite, Shannon. We're very much looking forward to. Oh, by the way, when and where do people show up When do they come in? What, give us the particulars on folks that want to come up and be a part, where and when.
Right. Okay. So if you want to come and you want to be a part of the craft show, the cornhole tournament, the beauty pageant, or just come and eat and barbecue, I'd start showing up around 10 a.m. Anytime after 10 a.m.
Saturday.
Park in the student parking lot. Saturday. Yes. Thank you for that. Saturday, January the 16th. Anytime after 10 a.m. The craft show's in the main gym. Your nose will take you to the barbecue. It's right behind the main gym. The cornhole tournament's upstairs in the old gym. So come join us. There's no entry fee for anything. There's no cover for anything. Everything except for the food is free.
So if I show up to compete in the beauty pageant, are y'all going to turn me away?
You will be turned away.
Just like every woman I've ever met, Shannon. Thank you very much for that, my friend. Hey, looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun, and thank you so much for coming on and talking to us.
I enjoyed it. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Shannon Wall, principal of Northwood. And I'm calling him the grand poobah of the Taste of Blanchard.